right now. Okay, I'm recording. Happy Easter to all of you. Kathy, sorry I got distracted. Mom is doing amazingly well.
Good.
Between me and my sister, we're, well, that's interesting. I see Kathy twice. Me and my sister are basically switching off, keeping vigil with her during virtually all of her waking hours. There might be a little bit here and there, and just to keep her morale and her spirits up, because anticipation of being able to return home is that's an important thing to keep that going. It's a tough deal. She's 90 years old. She has, oh, I like your t-shirt. Jesus, King of Kings. Hey, Scott. I need to shut this off because it's distracting me here. There we go. Anyway, yeah, she's coming along. I mean, got a long ways to go. She still transfers from the bed to the wheelchair with the safety belt and two trained nurses, and but her spirits generally are up. She's working hard at her physical therapy. So all very, very positive. House is getting into shape here. Certainly hope to have her back. I didn't realize what the difference was having her here and being able to do a phone call, jump on a Zoom meeting, take care of paperwork, deal with problem tenants, stuff like that. Well, she's right here versus I'm still right there with her. The only difference is I can't do any of that stuff. I'm in a hospital, right? So, but appreciate you asking. Had her out and about here. This place that she's at just really got some beautiful grounds, and so we've been going out yesterday and today. The weather's been relatively nice, and so we're cruising around, looking at the flowers, hanging out and stuff like that. So that's all been really, really cool. And so anyway, listen, I anticipated that we wouldn't have a large crowd. I had tried to reorient the day because of Easter, and both my sister and myself, we got this schedule, and so we're kind of locked into that. And so anyway, what I wanted to do today, let me just confirm I am recording. Very, very good. What I thought I'd do today is more, because I figured I'd have a limited number of people, and we want to certainly maintain the confidentiality of the group. What I thought I'd do is maybe kind of make this a real working workshop. We're coming up, we got one more week left of the original 12 weeks. Everybody, as I was reviewing my notes and that sort of thing, everybody was asked to set up goals for the 90 days. We went through an entire process of getting you prepared to do that. We've had some tremendous tools to use with the Surfs Ups program, the $40 kits. We've still got this week and next week left for all new enrollees to be able to get double fast start commissions. Each new enrollment brings with it 10 new codes for the enrollers, so we can keep that type of thing going. What I thought I'd do is just kind of see how you're doing in terms of achieving the goals that you each had individually set for at the beginning of this time frame, and then again being open and authentic. What challenges have you been experiencing, and maybe a little one-on-one time where we can identify what it is, what are the challenges, if you've had any, achieving your goals. And collectively as a group, I've got Amy McKenzie here. Boy, I'll tell you what, she's a great analyst of challenges. She can she's done some pretty amazing things, I'll tell you, in the time that she's been with us. Amy, you don't mind me sharing a little bit of information about what just happened with you? No, don't mind. Okay, not yet. Has not yet been open, but Amy's been getting quite a bit of traction with her organization. Kevin, kudos to you. You've been a big part of that. Amy on, I think it was Wednesday or Thursday or Tuesday or sometime this past week, picked up her new shiny black on black Mercedes-Benz. Woo!
Way to go, Amy.
And I got to tell you, she looks pretty cool in that car. I was talking with her. I knew she was picking up the car, and I figured, well, she's probably got the car, and I think it was Newport Beach you found the car you were looking for. And so I called her up, and I got to frame up the story just a little bit, okay? Amy's been driving around in an 1832 vintage Subaru. I think it's got 4,300,000 miles on it or something like that. As many of you know, Amy's number one focus in life has been to get her daughter through school. And so she took her Mercedes-Benz payment when she could have, thrown that at a car, and kept throwing that at her kids' college education. If you know what it costs to go to the University of Chicago or something like that, you'll understand why she was taking every penny of her, including the Mercedes-Benz payment, and putting it towards her kid. Well, she's a smart gal. She waited until the timing was right so she could do it without it being, stressful. And she found the car she wanted at Newport Beach, and which I thought was interesting because my first Zija car came from BMW of Newport Beach, probably just down the street from Mercedes of Newport Beach. So I figured, I was thinking in my head, and was heading over, I think to the rehab hospital, see Mom. We're just coming back from my shift, and I figured, okay, well, Amy's probably got her car. I know she's got to drive a ways north to get to where she's at. So I called her on the phone. She answers right away, crystal clear. And I said, "Are you in your new car?" She said, "Yes, I am. This is so exciting. I answered your call by pushing a button." just like downtown, right? Just like the real
on my steering wheel.
On the steering wheel, no less. Pushed a button on the steering wheel, and there's Fred's voice loud and clear, instead of fishing around trying to get this thing going here and roll up the windows. And so anyway, I got to tell you, I'm more excited about Amy's transition from what she was driving to the Mercedes than I was about getting my first BMW, or even the second one. I'm more excited for her because it's such a big deal. It's really very, very cool. So congratulations to Amy, another Zija Benz recipient, and excited about that, and looking forward to getting a ride in your car someday, and more pictures so we can get some Facebook postings here. So anyway, let's do that, folks. Anybody want to volunteer to maybe start this process? We'll take our time tonight. Let's identify what are we doing, the half a dozen things that we know are necessary to create success. We know that if we keep it simple, then it's simply a matter of how much, how often, and every one of us can do this, right? Even a guy like me can do this. And so let's identify where you are on the path of the goals that you'd originally set for your 12 weeks. What do you perceive are the challenges, and where might I be able to help you overcoming some of those challenges? And this is all just within our own personal group here, okay? What are you munching on, Joni? I think we're small.
Almonds.
Almonds? Yeah, they're probably the raw, natural, healthy ones, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see, I don't like those. Yeah, I want mine with smoke flavoring and salt and that sort of thing. I just don't eat that many of them is all. All right, anybody?
Yeah. All right, I'll be brave.
Okay.
My biggest challenge seems to be getting people to get started. They drag their feet. I'm giving them the videos, checking in with them, asking them how long, and they're moving like a slow herd of turtles. And so I'm not getting anybody to Builder 500, and that was really my goal, was to help teammates get to Builder 500. So I think I might be needing to talk to more people and just get more people started, and let the ones that are in the pipeline work at their own speed, unless you have some other suggestions. I did talk to Amy about it a week or so ago, and she helped with some timelines and moving it forward. So how can you what advice do you have for me, Fred?
Very, very, very good, Kate. That's excellent, because you're not the only person that's having that challenge. Okay? That is universal challenge in our business. Now, let me see if I can get a little bit of clarity here. We're not talking about getting people to commit to coming in.
No.
Okay, we're talking about getting people to commit and engage in the correct activities to rank advance.
Yeah, the biggest thing is really getting them to get us on the phone.
With their prospects.
Right.
Okay.
I've offered, give them a quick script via, Amy's suggestion, offered to be there on the phone when they dial, and they still can't get it done.
Mm-hmm. Okay, very good. Now, before I go any farther, let me clarify who we're talking about. Are we talking about people that have enrolled with the $40?
No.
Okay, these are people that have purchased a package.
Yeah, and most of them are gold.
Okay, you're talking most of the people that were having challenges getting to move forward.
Yeah.
Had started with a gold pack.
Yeah, and
Okay.
they don't want double fast start commissions or something. I don't know.
Okay, now it's not important that I can find the solution to the problem. Okay, what I'm hoping over this period of time, and I know it's been kind of truncated, and we lost some momentum there for about 4 weeks. But nevertheless, just going through my notes, I'm impressed with not with myself, but impressed that we were able to get this information out. What's more important to me is that you've gained enough knowledge, enough understanding of what our business is about, that you can find the solutions to your problem. Because if you can find the solutions to the challenges that you're having, then you can offer the solutions to your people. Okay, because you're going to get people that are going to have the same challenges, and you want to be able to say, I know exactly what you're experiencing. I experienced the same thing, and this is what I found worked. Okay, and we want to stay a little way, as much as possible, we want to stay away from the techniques and stay within the concepts. That becomes universal. Now, a couple of things that you've learned in the time that you've been here. You can't get people to do what you want them to do. The best you can hope for is that they want to do what you want them to do. And the solution to that is testimonials. How do you motivate people? Well, you can't really motivate them. Okay, they got to bring that with them. So one of the things that I really like to do is really hone in on why people want to do this business. Because I want to keep bringing them back to their why. Okay, and several of you have shared. I asked you to put down the real reason why you need to be here, and share that with your participating upline diamond, and then offered you the opportunity. You could, by permission, they could share it with me if they chose to, and a few of you did. And so I know why several of you need to make this business work. And so knowing that from your personally enrolled, okay, and be part of that process. Understand, to me, it's a whole lot more about people development than volume. The volume is going to come along. If you're developing the people, the volume is inevitable. We've got people here just in this group that have been around for several years and are having, some of the best, best times they've had in Zija. They've been here for several years. Okay, so it's not so much about today volume as much as people development. And so I like to really get involved with what's important, and I want to bring people back to the why, because it's so easy to lose track of that. If you can continue to get back to them, you know, get them back to the place in their mind on why this was a reason why they pulled out their credit card and spent several $100s or $1,000 on Zija products. Help them get back to why. Now, testimonials. Talk about other people's stories. And this is why it's so important for all of us to be interconnected, for you to be, you know, especially members of this group. I mean, you got an incredible amount of talent, both brand new people and people that have a lot of tenure, you know, people like Berdina, people like Joni, you know, people like Amy McKenzie, of course, that have been around for a while, and hear their stories. And if we don't have new stories, then share the original stories on how they got off to a fast start. Now, if people will move forward faster if they have a clear vision. It's one of the analogies I like to use. I don't know if you ever been driving in fog and everybody's creeping along, and then all of a sudden there's these giant lights coming up behind you, and it's an 18-wheeler, and you're thinking, what is wrong with that big truck driver? He's driving like a maniac in the fog. Okay? It has everything to do with vision. When you're in a car, your headlights are about that far below your line of sight. And so the headlights are diffracting the fog when you're looking through it. In an 18-wheeler, especially a cab over, you are way higher above the headlights. Headlights are way down. And so you're actually looking down on beams of light shooting out into the road, and you actually can see a lot farther. And you can increase your speed if you can increase your vision. In our business, the analogy comes, the vision comes from exposure to people who have obtained what it is your new guy, new gal is looking for. And so being able to share the story, okay? Wow, you guys have an incredible opportunity right now to be sharing Amy McKenzie's story. This creates vision. If we can get people to see where they intend to be down the road, see it through somebody else's eyes, it makes it easier for them to do the things that are necessary today. You know, I'm so excited. You know who Amy McKenzie is? She just picked up her Mercedes, and then tell her story. She was a single mom. You know, she struggled all her life. You know, her passion has been theater, but it wasn't a big money maker. And then her daughter wanted to go to school, one of the most expensive schools in the country. And Amy used her Zija business to get it to pay for her daughter's education, and she's done so well now that she actually got her own Mercedes. Testimonials, yours and others. Nothing wrong. It's like playing poker. Okay, when you're through messing around and you call, that's the end of the deal, right? Show them. I call. Nothing wrong with using the same concept with your person. You know, Mary Lou, you know, I remember you saying how important it was for you to create an income, you know, as quickly as possible. You know, your job is killing you. You're desperate to be able to stay home and raise the babies. You're worried about your retirement, how you're going to come up with the money. Whatever it is the reason. And I know that this opportunity can get you there. Let me ask you a question, because the only way that I can help you share the product, share the opportunity, and teach others to do the same to build that distribution network is to get on the phone with your prospects. And I remember when I first started, I went to pick up the phone for that first call, and I was all excited. I had my script down. I knew exactly what I was going to say to them, exactly what tools I was going to send them. And I went to pick up the phone, and I had to use both hands because it weighed 4,000 pounds. I remember that. The first one's always the hardest one. And so what's keeping you from picking up the phone and making the call? Nothing wrong with asking. It's, you know, sometimes we try and be too nice. And we can't be mean. Remember, this is an all-volunteer army, right? If they worked for us, it'd be real simple. Did you make your 28 calls this morning? You didn't? You got one more day to do it, or else you're out of here, right? If they worked for us, they don't work for us. This is why leadership is so important, because we've got to lead people. We can't tell them what to do. So, in this case, nothing wrong with being honest, you know, be present in the moment. Mary Lou, let me ask you, what's keeping you from picking up the phone? And listen, and whatever it is, it's just like when you follow up with your customer, you know, how's it going? Oh, well, I got this little problem, too much liquid to drink. I didn't lose any weight this week, you know. It makes my stomach upset. I can't stand the taste of moringa. What? That's great. And I can help. I'm scared of talking to people. That's great. I can help with that. Okay? And then do whatever you got to do. But see, all we've got to do is get one. And if you understand, one way to look at is 80-20 rule. Understand very clearly that 80% of the people that you bring in, whether they come in with personal packs, gold packs, or diamond packs, they're not going to be the people that are going to build your business. I wish there was some other way to say it. Okay, they're not. They come, and you can't tell who it is. Trust me. It's not the super sharp person in the business suit with the Rolex and laid down their platinum American Express card for the diamond pack. Okay, they come disguised as truck drivers that had to put together 3 credit cards to come up with their order. Okay, they come disguised as, you know, single moms working 3 jobs to make ends meet, that pulled out their you know, emergency credit card and some mumbo jumbo about 11, 11, 11. Yeah, there's a story behind that story. You know, they come disguised as people like me and you and Berdina. You can't tell. That's why you got to give every single person the chance. And you give them the chance, and what you're looking for is the one that stands up, raises their hand, and says, I'm ready, take me to the millionaire table. And so that's why I'm willing to put that energy into the person that starts with the enhanced pack. If they got a burning desire to succeed, do they stay coachable? Do they commit to doing the things that they said they were going to do? You know, good work ethics, as long as they keep moving forward. But I also recognize it's what Don Fala calls, you know, the ships, right? The gold ship, the silver ship, the empty ship, right? You can't tell by looking at them because they all look like ships. You can't tell by looking at them. So you give every single person the benefit of the doubt. Don't hesitate to point out exactly what's happening and call, okay? What is it that's keeping you from doing the first thing necessary for us to do this? I'm afraid of rejection. Great, I can help with that. One of the things I heard, you know, I spend a lot of time with Fred Holmes on the phone. You guys, by the way, you've got like a secret weapon. You can say things like, you know, that's very interesting. I had the same challenge, but I worked directly with Fred Holmes, David Moses, Amy McKenzie, Pat Anderson. Pick one. Pick anybody. Because you have. You've worked directly with me. You've worked with Amy. You've worked with Dave. I don't know how much time you spent with David, but I know that you know David. You know, Pat, right? And this is what they shared with me. Third-party validation works for everything. It's never what I think. Okay? It's what somebody of higher, you know, status taught me. See, therefore, I'm not the guy. Let somebody else be the guy. All right? If I'm the guru, then maybe you can't be like me. I'm just I'm not the guy. I'm just a guy who was taught by the guy, the gal. Is that making sense?
Yes,
Okay.
definitely.
Now, if you can give them greater vision comes from the stories of others. I'll tell you a technique that we used to use all the time, and I hate techniques, but it was a great technique because it was basically a foundational concept. We call up new guy, new gal. How you doing? Great, great. Listen, I don't know if you heard, Mary Lou started just a week after you did. She just got 2 new people in Hip Builder 500. Man, things are rolling. I want to make sure you can get rolling too. What can I do to help you? Sense of urgency, fear of loss. How about this one? Fear of loss. Maybe I better start doing something or Kate's going to quit. Kate's got a new gal. I better step up my game or else Kate's going to go work with her new gal. Pull out all the stops, every one of the little tools in your tool bag, tricks up your sleeve to get people, inspired, to get them engaged. Maybe you need to be focusing on the product results, okay? That's part of engagement. Are they getting product results? Maybe talk about that. And understanding, at some point in time, you have to let people, you don't have to let people go. I was about to say let people go. At some point in time, you have to allow people to take their place within your organization. Okay? You can't make a duck go to Eagle School. It don't work. They check IDs at the door. Now, I'm probably, and David would probably say this, I'm guilty of this, of trying to work with many, many ducks thinking there's eagles there. But I have to, because I'm that guy. I was the duck. I was the duck. And I've told you the story. My sponsor told, probably a year after I was in the business, my sponsor told me he didn't think, first company, original sponsor, he didn't think I was going to make it. Didn't keep him from signing me up. He got his first order bonus, and he was calling me every night, who can you talk to? Who'd you talk to? Who'd you talk to? Who'd you talk to? Well, and then, of course, after the fact, I realized part of that had to do with the fact the company was in such a terrible slump at that exact moment. They were hoping somebody'd sign up, right? And I just thought that's how hard multi-level was. It never occurred to me that was tough, right? I just figured that's what it is. Hey, listen, I've worked hard all my life. Are these things helping at all?
Definitely. I really appreciate it.
Okay. And then one last thing. Getting your, and one of the things that's going to happen here, folks, and be real clear on this, where we are right now in this concept of the second wave, okay, we haven't even gotten out of the car. We arrived at the parking lot where the beach is. Okay, we're not even out of the car yet. We still got to get out of the car. We got to get the ice chest. In my case, got to crack the beer because you got to have at least one beer before you get to the beach, right? It's a long walk. Nothing's really going to start happening with this second wave, even though we've got a lot of stuff happening. You heard the numbers from the conference call, the Zija Nation call. I mean, there's a lot of stuff happening. We brought in a new company, another small company, Kavita. But things are starting to pop. Okay, now people are starting to pay attention, but we're on a scale of 1 to 10, we're still trying to reach 1 in terms of getting momentum. Things are going to start moving faster and faster. Probably the next 90 days will kind of solidify this. When we walk into summer, okay, we're going to have some momentum. This will be one of the first summers in a few years that we're going to see growth in the business in the Zija company. And what's pretty exciting is there really isn't any companies out there right now that have any significant momentum. I was talking with David for a few minutes the other day, trying to go through the companies that are out there. Isagenix, they had some really red hot momentum for a while. They're kind of becoming a little bit of an old shoe now. Jeunesse, the big deal. They're kind of a little flat now. They've kind of, blew up through Europe and kind of an old shoe now. I mean, there's not a lot out there. Zija's getting the buzz. The buzz. People are starting to talk about Zija because there's I mentioned to you, and I'll give you another one. Melaleuca. Melaleuca is doing the same thing that Niken did. Okay, and it's just a couple of months away. They're changing their comp plan. There's going to be a lot of people that have been with Melaleuca for a long, long time that are going to be searching for a new home. Okay, now that doesn't mean, oh man, I don't know anybody in Melaleuca, I'm not going to be able to capitalize. Duh, forget about that. It has nothing to do with anything. It has to do with an awareness that in the industry, there are very few places for people to go that have any kind of real enthusiasm, real spark, real buzz, real sizzle. And then add to that, there is nobody in the industry that has the reasons why I joined Zija. Ken Brailsford and Moringa. Okay? Most companies out there, I'm going to tell you right now, most company owners would have bailed long before they put in the kind of money that Ken Brailsford did before we sold our first can of Zija. Okay? These are the kinds of things of why I joined Zija, you know what, 9 years ago now. I think it's 9. I lose track. So the next 90 days, you know, the second quarter of the year, if you will, is going to really start to solidify what we started at the beginning of the year. We just, you know, well into the beginning of the year, the first couple of months of the year, then we had the second wave after Cancun. We're going to start getting some traction about over the next 90 days. We hit July 1. We're going to have some momentum going into the summer. Very few companies do any kind of increase in the summer. We haven't. We've maintained, which is great for most companies. The real significant growth we're going to see is going to come out of convention. You guys are months ahead of any kind of significance. This is why you need to be doing this now. It's working counter-cyclically. And so being able to use third-party validation, but this is what Fred said. This is what Amy taught me. This is what David said. You become the expert because you were trained by the people that know. You know, leverage that credibility in yourself from the people that you have worked closely one-on-one with. And then, and what I started to say, I got a little distracted talking about the momentum. One of the things that's going to start happening here, folks, and if there's one single thing that I see that I would like to have you all kind of massage it a little bit, kind of, you know, get out of this formal scheduling of calls. Okay? That's really not how this business works. It's helpful. You know, my situation, it's real helpful if you can tell me when. As several of you already know, because we've tried this, I can say I'm going to try and do this. Is he in trouble, Joni? Turn on the mic so we can find out what he did wrong. Ah, that's so sweet. I kind of wanted to hear you say, and you better be back on time. Don't you wreck that car. So anyway, sorry. We're going to have to start getting used to making the calls when we can. Okay? It's no longer possible for us to, you know, we'll try whenever possible. And you know, you guys know me. I'm going to do whatever I can. But the problem has been for me is that if I think I'm getting out at such and such a time for mom, there may be something happening right at that moment. If my sister's not there, I have to stick around. I mean, poor Scott's had several times we've had to blow out calls. You know, a couple of you have. We're going to have to get used to doing this kind of thing. I got 10 minutes. I call you up, Kate. Go talk to that person. Go put them on the line with me right now. All right? Can't schedule the time. When you've got the opportunity to have one of your upline with you, go make the calls then. Now, for a couple of your people that, you know, Gold Packs just got started, maybe I said hi to them as they were coming into the business or what have you. You did your job, did the introduction call. You got to know, I don't remember those people. Okay, I mean, I might, you know, I operate off the principle of be authentic in the moment with the person, and I am. That's what makes me good. I am really there at that moment. But then 5 minutes later, I'm on to the next person. So the cool thing is for them, that was a genuine contact, because it was. I was present, authentic, and in the moment. You need to capitalize on that. When you've had Amy on the phone, you've had Pat on the phone, you've had me on the phone with them. That was meaningful to those people. Do not underestimate the significance to your people that you have had, you know, one of the big shots on the phone with them. But we're not going to be able to follow up with them. I built my business that way. I remember I used to hammer my phones. Hi, Mary Lou. This is Fred Holmes. I'm your upline gold. Congratulations. I see you just hit builder. You signed up too, your dog and your cat. I wanted to congratulate you. Yeah, Fluffy Smith and you know, Sparky Smith, right? My two new customers, so I'm qualified now, right? Amy's laughing her head off. She remembers the old days. I used to be able to work down line really good, all right? And that's how I built my business. I just drove depth so hard that, you know, that the volume came in. Now you have to bring the people to your people. So we get on the phone, we got 10 minutes, let's go dial in for dollars. Let's go talk to people. Let's find out. You never know what word, what comment, or just simply that, you know, Amy McKenzie was on the phone with you and wanted to reach out to Mary Lou. Fred Holmes, and you want people to realize, wow, Kate's always talking to Fred. She's always talking with Pat and Amy, even though this might have been the 5 minutes we had to talk this month. Okay, that's part of the vision. Everybody wants to be somebody, and they want to be connected like you. All right, now, I'm certain, you know, Berdina, you've been around a long time. Joni, so have you. Amy, you've been around a long time. Anything you want to add to the conversation I'm having with Kate? Because she got some great, I mean, that was right on the money. That's the best question you could ask tonight. How do you get your brand new person came in to engage? The significance of the fast start story. Get them past that fear. Because if you can get them to get 2 or 3 people on the phone with you, and you know that if you can get them to, those people to get on the phone with you, they're at least going to say, sure, I'll look at the video. I think we talked, didn't we talk about this on a previous session? Alternate ways beyond the system, invitation, presentation, validation, and that there was flexibility in that. We talked about that, right? Okay, I see some nodding heads. Okay, anybody else want to? Because I'm not the guy that has the definitive end input. I just been around a long time. Anybody else want to throw in any thoughts for Kate? Let me see who.
Fred, I'll add a little bit there.
Great.
Part of my struggle, and so I think it might be part of everybody else's struggle too. It's easy to do, but it's easy not to do. Because you don't have a quota, you don't have to do it today. There's always tomorrow. And so I loved what you said about keep the why in front of them. That's what will speak to them.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Berdina, you really, I got to tell you something. You are better than you know you are. Okay? Because there's not a quota, they don't have to do it. We have to bring it from ourselves. This was the characteristic that, you know, I came disguised as a truck driver, but here was the characteristic that you're looking for, the self-employment mentality. Nobody has to tell the owner to get up early enough to be at the shop and have it open, lights on, and everything ready to go before the customer shows up at 8 a.m. Nobody has to tell the owner of the company to do that. Nobody had to tell me that the load had to be in Lincoln, Nebraska by 5 o'clock Friday night, or they would not unload it till Monday. And if it waited till Monday, it would be, instead of strawberries, fresh strawberries from California, it'd be strawberry jam. Nobody had to tell me that. That's who you're looking for. We talk about daily method of operation, how to set that up. Do it the night before. Identify half a dozen things. Then put it in writing. then schedule it and do that the night before. Then when you wake up, it's already on your calendar. You already know what to do. We have to teach people that, because 95% of the people that we're going to bring into our business have never been self-employed. It is a skill set as much as it is a personality trait. Okay, it's easy to do. It's easy not to do. Sometimes it's better if somebody can commit to someone else. You know, that is a great, and I hate techniques, but that's a great technique. If you can get your new person to commit to an activity for you, do it for you, they're more likely to get it done because they committed and they know you're going to follow up on them. It's almost like a boss. People for many years have you know, called up and said, Fred, you know, one of the things I heard is find a mentor. I'd like you to mentor me. What they really mean is I'd like you to be my, not my coach in the sense of teaching, but my, you know, father or mother in the sense of, did you do your chores? That's what they think mentoring is. And sometimes if that's what the person needs, then that's what we have to offer. Anybody else? Something to add for Kate? And it doesn't have to be limited to the people I mentioned that have some tenure if you've been experiencing the same thing yourself.
I think
Go ahead.
I'll back up Berdina, because I started with the gold and just sat on my dead, airy butt. I didn't get started until I had to. And that's my fault. And I think, and I didn't have the why in front of me. But, and that's me. I think, like Bernice says, put the why in front of them, then that will get their ghetto back in it. And like you said too, is you're doing it for me, or you joined and let's get this going, type of thing, and give them the why, and then they're going to want to do it more, not just sit on a derriere like I did.
Oh, derriere. That's not what I thought you said.
What did you think I said?
I can't say. But it rhymes with derriere.
Oh, okay.
All right, very good. What other questions, challenges, thoughts can we work with right now?
Well, I have a request.
Okay.
There's one of my friends today that there was a brunch, and then there was going to be a Tupperware party at my brother's house. And I was talking with him, and I'm like, when he was asking me what I was doing and everything like that, and I finally mentioned that we got on the topic of owning your life. And I said, oh my goodness, there's a guy that I know, Fred Holmes, and he was also a truck driver, and he has a very successful story, and teaching people basically through this mentorship program that I'm doing right now, how to understand this type of industry and how to do really well in it. And he had talked to me about his other experience in another company where some vitamin company, Canai or something like that. And he was saying, wow, they have a great product, but it's way outside of my price range. So I listened to him. I listen. And basically when I explained this, I wasn't talking about price anymore. I was just talking about that, because he goes, I don't know people that have that budget. And so I explained to him, well, it's interesting, as human beings, we'll see other people's struggles through our struggles and through our vision, but it's not that the people that you think that you don't know, it's that the people that you do know those people. So when you understand that you have your correct information, you have the correct, actions that are done on a daily basis, even if it's not much time, but it's done on a consistent basis, you'll get to where you need to go. So you found that really interesting. But coming back to the point of someone else, I would say, wow, I don't know that much people. The budget is something for him. What if, because he was saying their product was about $160 per month, and him and his wife, it would cost around $300. So he's like, wow, that'd be way outside of my budget. Other than speaking to you, because he didn't want to go do all the talking, and I didn't want to go and blah, blah, blah about it. I was just listening to my friend and getting clarity what was his worry. What would you suggest in this situation? Could he start with a package anyways, and then just use a smaller order ship? Would it be to what's called again, get oils? Like, what would you tell to someone like that that would be interested, but it's like, wow, I just feel like that price range is not something for me. But although he's open to the idea of this industry and getting to work with you and getting to work with his friend, he's interested. So what do you think on that, Fred?
Well, first thing I'm going to say, and I'm hoping that most of you right now are trying to figure out how to answer Marvin's question. Okay, to me, that would be, to me, one of the most fulfilling things that I could experience for the time that we've spent together is each one of you right now trying to think in your mind, how would I, if I was Fred, how would I answer Marvin's question? Okay. Now, the first thing that I would look at is there a reason to make a sale? Is he want to create more income? Does he want to have better health? If that is there, then I want to emphasize that, because whether or not you can afford the product, whether or not you can afford, the entry package is immaterial. If you want to be a customer bad enough, if you want good health bad enough, or if you want an income opportunity bad enough. Go back to my situation. Zero experience in the industry, introduced to network marketing. I called an ad, right? And I had to put together, I could not get the diamond pack. Okay, the diamond pack with that company was $4,000. Now, they had a 2-month, 2 gold pack opportunity. So I could start at the diamond pack by getting a gold pack, which was only $2,000. And 30 days later, I had to buy another gold pack. And then I could have started with a diamond pack. I'm using ZJ terms, right? Okay. I had to put 3 credit cards together to get the $2,000 package on the 2-month plan. And then I had to go sell that stuff so I'd have my $2,000 back so I could do it again the second month to make me a direct. Okay? So point I'm making is that has nothing to do with anything. You got to get that stuck in your head. Whatever they're saying about the cost of the product, the cost of the package, that has nothing to do with anything if they're the person you're looking for. Now, this is one of the challenges we have when we're working with our very closest friends and family. We may want success, prosperity for them, or good health, if we're talking about a customer, for them more than they want it for themselves. And we have to be willing to accept that. Okay? Sometimes we just have to be willing to accept the people we care about the most are not ready. Okay, that's a first. That's a first.
Sorry.
Yeah. Fluffy Theodore, Steiner up.
Go package.
Go package, exactly right. So that's one thing. Now, get it stuck in your head. The money is never the issue. Anybody who says they can't afford $100 for nutritional supplements, ask them if they have cable TV. Except for people in Berdina's neighborhood, they don't have electricity in Berdina's neighborhood. They're too far from the power plant. Okay, they bring their cable TV over in a bucket where she lives. But you see what I'm saying, Marvin? Yeah. I've never met somebody on welfare that didn't have a 6-pack of beer in the refrigerator, okay, cable TV, a color TV, and a pack of cigarettes in their pocket. And they're on welfare. It's never about the money. Mm-hmm. Now, if you can determine that there's a serious why they want to be healthy, okay, the doctor just said, we're going to have to put you on diabetes medication. You've been eating too much McDonald's and too much Diet Mountain Dew, and you got, your blood sugar's out of control, that might be their wake-up call. And guess what? When they cut off the McDonald's and the pork rinds and the Diet Mountain Dew, they can convert all that into a serving a day of moringa, and they're going to get dramatic results, much more so than people like me or you, because people like me and you are healthy. I didn't have any life-changing results 3 seconds after drinking my first can of moringa. Neither did you. But the people that are really sick are going to notice a difference. Same thing. Well, I don't know. I can't afford this. I can't afford that. That sounds to me like the number one reason you should be looking at this.
Mm-hmm.
My second opportunity, first multi-level opportunity, you guys know the story, about 2 years there, worked hard. I made some good money, but I was spending all that money. Okay, spending every penny of it trying to take care of my kids' education. Left that company, did a little stint in some direct sales, and then the second company came along. And the guy that called me on it, their gold pack order was $5,000. It kept getting worse, right? Gold pack was $5,000. And the guy that prospected me, he actually wanted my sponsor, but he didn't figure he could get my sponsor. He didn't have enough credibility, but he knew me, figured if he could get me, that I could get my sponsor, right? Jeff, the big guy. And so Dave calls me up. He's pitching me on the deal. I said, Dave, I ain't got $5,000. I can't come in, buddy. I ain't got $5,000. And he says, how old are you, Fred? And at that time I said, I think I was like 33, I think. And he says, 33. So you've been working for at least 15 years. And in that period of time, you haven't managed to put together a situation where you can you get your hands on $5,000. You're 33 years old. Fred, that's the only reason you need to beg, borrow, or steal the money, so you don't have to embarrass yourself ever again by saying you can't get your hand on $5,000. And he hung up. He was rude, and he was right, and I found a way to do it. And I'm going to tell you exactly how I found the $5,000. Mom's credit card. The company that made me a fortune, I started it by borrowing Mom's credit card. So, start out with determining whether or not there's a need for a sale. A need to make them a customer. Do they need to get good health? Do they need to create income? Do they want it bad enough? That's the first step, okay? Keeping in your head that money is never the deal. It's never the reason. If they can say money's the reason, but the real reason is they don't believe they can do it. That's great. I can help with that.
Yeah.
Put them on the phone with me. Put them on the phone with Dee Dee. Put them on the phone with Doug, okay? Give them exposure to others. Dee Dee Shaw, what's her story? They were going to lose their house. Her husband's an engineer. He makes a good living. But a good living doesn't work if you got to feed 12 babies. Okay? You got to have an extraordinary living if you're going to feed 12 babies. They were going to lose their house. She was being pressured to go back to corporate America because she made really good money in corporate America. Good money as he did. And that's what they needed. They needed double the income they were bringing in. And so how did she get started? She took the grocery money for the next week and put it into Zija and had a home party and sold it all and got her money back. But she was in and she got some momentum. She had some traction, had a couple distributors. Tony came in pretty soon after that, I think, right? And so, well, a year later, where'd you go, Joni?
Yes,
It
I
was
got it.
about a year later?
Yes.
Okay. So if Dee Dee hadn't have pulled the trigger, rolled the dice, took the food money, did the party, like I said, swung. If she hadn't have swung, she never would have hit it. And Joni wouldn't be there. Right? She did what she needed to do. Now, and I forget if he says your friend, your cousin, your brother, whatever.
Friend.
If he's the guy you're looking, brother,
No, my friend.
your friend. Okay. If he's
Yes.
the guy you're looking for, then give it your best shot. All right. Put him on the phone. Get him somebody he can relate to. Because if he's the one you're looking for, what's his problem? Doesn't make a difference. That's great. I can help with that. You need to talk to this guy. You need to listen to this person. The inspiration, not the motivation, the inspiration of hearing stories of people that they can relate to, if not to relate to the person, can relate to the situation, that may be what it takes to get them going. Okay? All I can tell you, and this is what I'd say to him, all I can tell you, when I started in this profession, I had no idea of what to do. I had no way of figuring out how I was going to do it. I didn't have the money, but I believed enough in the people that believed in me, and I knew me. I was willing to work, willing to learn, and I had a white-hot burning desire to succeed, and they told me that's all I needed, and so I rolled the dice. I stepped up to the plate and swung. Okay, I took a chance, and where would I be today had I not started in that first company 30 plus years ago? When Amy McKenzie, tell Amy's story. When Amy McKenzie got into this business, she was praying for a solution to the challenges that were coming up in her life. And she got a phone call from a guy that she never knew, who shared a product, shared an opportunity. I put her on a conference call. There was and here's what happened. She was praying for something. She didn't know what it was. She just knew she wasn't going to be able to pull off what she needed to pull off. And when the time came, if you would have asked her how much money she got, she'd tell you nothing. I got nothing except that emergency credit card that was never to be touched. And she believed enough in herself and the people that believed in her that she was willing to give it a try. Now, fast forward several years, Amy's had, starts and pullbacks, starts and pullback. We've had a few of those. Everybody has, okay? That's part of the learning process. The 90-day game plan. Why we have a 90-day game plan? Because you can't focus on 3 to 5 years at a time. You can't even focus on 1 year at a time. And I'm going to tell you right now, most of you have had a hard time focusing on a daily method of operation for 90 days. Come on, say, that's me.
Yep, that's me.
There you go. See, this ain't that big a deal. This is simple stuff. The good part about it is if it's just, if it's a simple system, only a few things to do, if it's only about how much and how often, then even a guy like me can do it. But it takes time. Look at Marvin. Okay, if Marvin took his shirt off right now, I'm just between me and you, and I mean it in a totally heterosexual sense, dude's the bomb. Okay, he looks great. Okay, it's going to take me forever to look like that. But I'm getting closer, folks. Closer today than I was a year ago and closer than 2 years ago, right? It takes time. You guys are experiencing that already. But let me tell you what. We got 2 more cycles, this one and next one. We're going to wrap up, our last Saturday is going to be next Saturday or Sunday. And the second 90 days, if you guys persist, if you go back to your notes, go back to the recorded videos, go back and, close the book on this 90 days, open the book on the next 90 days, go back to the basics every single night, daily method of operation, proceed with the activities. At the end of the day, celebrate or fix, define what you need to do, go do it again, go do it again. The next 90 days is going to be way more productive for you than this first 90 days was, because you're exercising, you are, building the muscle. It's not easy. It is not easy. It's not easy to do those half a dozen things every day. It's not easy to commit to the long term. It's not easy to pick up the 4,000-pound telephone to call the person that you know you're supposed to call, but you don't want to be rejected. You don't want that one person in your warm market that's really a big deal, the one that you want. You don't want them to think less of you, or calling your brother because you don't want to be yelled at for doing another stupid thing. Okay, none of this is easy. Yeah, Amy? None of this is easy. If it was easy, everybody'd do it. It's not easy to make $500,000 a year. If it was, everybody'd do it. It's not easy to make $100,000 a year. If it was easy to make $100,000, then we wouldn't have a situation where only 5% of the population make that. See, in Zegeland, you make $100,000 a year. It's kind of like, oh, you're just a diamond. Oh. In the real world, that's a big freaking deal. It's a BFD. You got to understand it's not easy. But it becomes really easy one day at a time when you build the muscle. Okay? I'm going to use another analogy. I had these challenges of getting my life back to normal, eating normal, sleeping in my own bed, getting to the gym regularly, all the things that define my life of being normal. And, one of the things that, once my house got put together, I want to get myself back into the house, get into the gym, told my trainer, I can't keep the schedule. And he said, well, just act like you own the place. Just come and go as you want. Well, Monday, last week, I got into the gym, didn't get out of there until I think it was like 7 o'clock at night. I showed up when everybody else was leaving. Wednesday, I never made it. Okay, had stuff going on with mom. My sister was 2 hours late getting in. Couldn't make it. Friday, I cannot go the whole week with one day in the gym. It had nothing to do with knowing that I'd feel physically better. It had to do with this. I couldn't allow that to happen. I did not get to the gym until 7 o'clock Friday night because I had a few calls, end of the week, that sort of thing. Now, it wasn't so much that I felt great physically, although I did. Okay, it was I felt better mentally because I'd accomplished what I set out to do. But I guarantee you, had I not had a prolonged period of time of exercising those muscles day in and day out, because I was beat. Folks, Friday, I got to eat dinner. It was, I ate dinner at 11 o'clock Friday night. Each of the preceding days, I slept about 5 hours, and I started to realize the previous time I'd eaten from Friday night was Wednesday night.
Wow.
That was the previous time I ate. I went all day Thursday, got home Thursday night, had to get some stuff done on the computer. I ate a fistful of peanuts. It was midnight. I had to be up at 6 a.m. to see mom, and I just went to bed. And then I went all day Friday, and actually I got up at 5. The clock was set for 6:30, but I woke up at 5, had stuff to do, so I got up and did it anyway. And then before I knew it, I'd gotten home from the gym. I'm living off of Zija and peanuts. Well, only once, Thursday night. Okay, now I'm not doing this for you guys to be, give me any sympathy. I'm trying to point out that the consistency of daily method of operation creates muscle, mental muscle, physical muscle, and we're talking about the gym. Okay, we got young Marvin here, Mr. Body Beautiful. Doesn't help that you're also a lot better looking than me too. Okay, I hate you young guys. But what I'm trying to point out is that if you want to be that superstar, if you want to be that person, everybody goes, oh my, going into the convention, okay, wherever it happens to be, Salt Lake City, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, walking in, you're all dressed in your nice suit, ladies, you're dressed to the nines, and you hear somebody behind you going, look, that's Marvin Theodore. No, it's not. Yes, it is. I've seen his video. If you want to be that person, then you will earn every single bit of it one day at a time, exercising the muscles. Daily method of operation, half a dozen activities, commit to doing it the next day. At the end of the day, evaluate, celebrate or fix, do it again, do it again, do it again, do it again, do it again. If it's a simple system, there's only half a dozen things we're going to do. Share the product, share the opportunity, teach others to do the same, promote the impending events, work in depth, learn, become a master storyteller. There's only half a dozen things we're going to do. If it's a simple system, then it's only about how much and how often. And if we're willing to commit to that, then even I can do it. Even a guy like me can do it. What difference does it make how long it takes, as long as you're making the progress you believe that you deserve? Have you held yourself accountable to a higher level? And apologies, I got distracted from the original question, Marvin. I hope this has been helpful. For your buddy, you got to give him vision. You got to give him a story. Have him watch a video. Have him watch my video and say, I work with that guy on a daily basis. He doesn't need to know the daily means one day this week, one day last month. Right? I mean, it's all in how you phrase things. Jim Rohn, have a good story to tell. Learn how to tell it well. Well, if you don't have a really good story, then you really need to learn how to tell it well. Right? Show him Doug's video. He's going to go, man, that's a dream come true to be able to raise the kids in the country and, have that kind of lifestyle. I work with him on a daily basis. Let me put you on the phone. If you've got it up here that the money has absolutely nothing to do with anything. If your buddy got children? Yes? Okay.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
If the life of your buddy's child depended upon him coming up with $1,000 in the next 72 hours, would he find the $1,000? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
No question about it. He would beg, borrow, or steal the money. Right? So, how do you get people to do what you want them to do? Testimonial, yours and others. That's the only way you can get it, to get them to want to do what you want to do. Did that help with that question, sir?
Yeah, it definitely did.
Despite my tangential thought process?
Yes. Thank you, Fred.
Can I share something?
Please.
I don't know if anybody else does this. I overthink things and I make it much more difficult than it really is. And
oh, not you, Joni.
Chris Estes he said something, and he said it more than once. He's leaving clues, and it really hit me. Even though he's the top money earner now, I believe. He said he had someone talk to 18 different people before they signed up, and every single person asked the same two questions, and it was, what did you like best, and what's keeping you from getting started today? And if the top money earner is doing that, we should be doing the same thing. It's very simple, but we overcomplicate it.
Joni, thank you very much. That is excellent. And and I just recently heard Chris say that. You guys got to plug into all the stuff that the top people are doing. Okay? Mm-hmm. I'm not the end all. When I heard Chris say that, that is powerful stuff. What did you like the best? And what's keeping you from getting started today? Because the first question identifies what we need to talk about. It's called speaking. It's what David Moses says, speaking to the listening of the audience. Okay, I've gone into meetings and I'm looking around and I'm talking, doing the pre-meeting, hearing people, and I realize there is no way I'm going to do my presentation and talk about making $1 million. I'm going to have to do my presentation and talk about the product and all the things it's doing for me and all the things it's doing for others, and talk about the integrity of the leadership of the company, and talk about an opportunity to make enough money that not only can you be on the product, but so can your husband. Because if I talk $1 million, I'm not speaking to the listening of my audience. And so if the first question is, what did you like the best? Now we get to speak to the listening. We've identified what they are interested in, not what we are interested in. Then the second question, and this is magical stuff. It's two simple little questions, and it is magical stuff. What's keeping you from getting started today? Because we can keep pitching on, got to get going, got to get double fast start bonus, 2 weeks left, 40 fast start, $40 codes, blah, 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 blah. None of which means anything to the person. What's keeping them from getting started today? Because if we can address their issue, their challenge, then we can move forward. But if this is their challenge, I don't know enough people, and we keep hitting all these things over here, I don't care how good a shot we are, if we're not aiming at the target, we're never going to hit it. That was excellent, excellent stuff, Joni. I appreciate that. Definitely simple. If it's simple, fun, magical. Okay, hopefully you've written that down in your notes at some point in time since we started this process. Simple.
Well, Fred,
magic.
he was saying every time they would say like an objection, that's why he had 18 people, because you heard it. He would say, "Me too," and then he would know the stories, so he would connect them to someone with the right story.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why you keep telling us know everybody's story, because if we don't know them, we can't connect them. Like, I don't even know if Marvin knows this about me. He could have connected that guy to me because I thought Zija was too much money. However, I saw the value, so I made the commitment.
There you go. And let's see, Auntie isn't with us, but she did a great job. One of the first things, I got to tell you, I love Auntie, man. You talk about somebody who is team-oriented. And she's getting a lot of traction going on here. I think you might have heard last week, I think we were talking about what was happening with her team. She's getting a lot of traction. She put together that, private Facebook group, I guess is what it's called for this team here. And so you can reach out. If you're not part of that, you should get part of that. I think you have to be invited. Maybe Amy knows what to do with that. I'm out of touch with that stuff. This way, and you guys should be using each other's stories. Okay. In today's Zija, as we enter this, and they're calling it the second wave of momentum. It's the first real wave. Okay. The first wave we talk about, that had everything to do with product stories. And people were losing weight and feeling great. We had, magic skinny powder in a capsule. And I'll tell you what, you could just open it up, put it on somebody's head, and they started to look like Marvin. Okay, that's what we had back then. But there wasn't anything really concrete about that momentum. It had everything to do with the product. The product is what created the enrollment. The enrollment's what created the volume. As we go into this second wave, we're going to start making a transition. And you need to recognize that there will come a time over the next, say, 24 to 36 months that people are going to come into this business and they're going to say they really don't care about the product. But they've heard people are making so much money here, they want to be involved in the business. And there isn't anything wrong with that. I'm going to tell you right now, there's going to a lot of people are going to buck that process. They're going to say, no, they got to be hooked on the product. It's the product. It's the product. Well, that's fine. Natural stages of development. Okay, this is something, and we'll kind of close on this because we're already getting into hour 15 now. Natural stages of development of a distributor mirror the natural, evolutionary stages of development of a company. Typically, with a distributor, starts out with using the product. This is a great product. I feel better. In my case, after 4 days, I no longer needed the medication I was taking for my shoulder after my shoulder surgery. That was amazing. Most cases, typical. The distributor starts out as a consumer. Even if they buy a Diamond Pack, they're really in their mind a consumer. They get on the product, go, man, this product's great. It's helped me. Geez, I'll bet it'll help a lot of other people. And so then we go into the next stage. First stage is a product stage. Get the product into the field. Then we go into a recruiting stage where, geez, I'll bet you, or I'm sorry, a retail stage. I'll bet you, since I got great results on the product, other people would too. I'm going to go sell it to other people. And so we are in a retailing stage. And then once we start finding out other people will buy the product as well, we then move into a recruiting stage. I'll bet you I could build a business teaching other people how to sell the product with me. Okay? We start at the product stage, we get product results, then we move into the retailing stage as distributors. And then when we realize we can make money because people will buy the product, then we move into the recruiting stage where we then recruit others to do the same, build distribution networks, okay? Now, that is a characteristic or a typical, evolutionary growth cycle of a distributor. Companies mirror that. When I first started with Zija was in the product stage. We were getting product into the field. People were just starting to use the product. People were starting to get results, starting to recognize Moringa is as good in real life as it was on paper. Gotcha, Amy. See it. That's where we were. The first couple of years Zija was in business, then people like myself and David joined. And I mean, I'm going to tell you the first full year in Zija, I don't even think we did. I think we did $1 million in sales in 07. I think it was just a touch on it. It was like 900,000. And my actual enrollment's the end of 2007. I always use 2008 as my launch date because that's when I actually started doing the deal. 2008, I think we hit 2 million. Okay, very much product, stage of development. And we were that way for a couple of years. Okay, but then we had so many product results, we went into the retailing stages. And the retailing stage was when we had people like Pat Anderson, Doug and Amy Stroop, Dee Dee Shaw, Berdina came in at that period of time. People that were so sold on the product, they started selling the product. And we've been in a product-focused retailing business for a number of years. The thing that's necessary to move from the retailing stage to the recruiting stage is a highly developed focus at the distributor leadership side of the coin. And we had artificial stunting of growth for a few years. And we've talked a little bit about that. Now, today we have a whole new environment. The corporate team has recognized that their focus needs to be on building the operational part of the company and supporting the needs of the distributor base, and then hands off allow the distributor base to drive the business end of the business, if you will, the sales end of the business. And so we've come up with this first initial distributor developed and orchestrated and promoted initiative, the second wave. And we're already starting to see some traction of that. When you get into the recruiting stage, that third evolutionary stage of development of a company, that's when things start to become magical. Now, it's going to take some time to really get this thing going. We're just in the infancy stage of that. But once that thing starts to get going, this is when the things that we've been talking about are going to become much more valuable to you. The concept of don't worry about scheduling calls. If you can get your upline for 5 or 10 minutes, just go make calls. Here's the worst thing that happens. Me and Scott have done this. Poor Scott, I've had to blow him off a few different times on calls that he wanted to make. And so let's just get in call. And what do? We leave voicemail messages. Scott says, hey, Mary Lou, Scott here, just wanted to get back with you. I actually got Fred Holmes on the line. I was talking to him about you. And then he pauses for a minute so I can say something. Hey, Mary Lou, Fred here. Listen, sorry we missed you. Scott's been telling me about you. Yeah, love to get a chance to visit with you. Pretty exciting things going on. This has changed my life. And Scott, let's see if we can't find another time to connect with Mary Lou. Here's what just happened. Third-party validation. Scott Asano is hanging out with Fred Holmes on the phone, and they're talking. And we just thought we'd give her a call. Even if I don't get a chance to talk to her for a week, he got mileage out of that because he did his deal. He sold who his upline is. He had her watch the video. And oh my goodness, that guy was on the phone with Scott. Scott gets a tremendous amount of credibility because he's hanging out with me. You know, sooner or later she'll figure out I ain't that special. But until then, let her think it's special, right? And this is where we're going to have to go with this. So these are the natural evolutionary stages of development. We're just moving into that third stage. It's going to take a while to actually manifest that, but all the things that you've been learning over the last 11 weeks or so are the kinds of things that are going to be very meaningful to you now, because now's when the people that understand human nature, how to get people to want to do what you want to do, sharing testimonials, forget about 92 verifiable ingredients, forget about a 50-50 match, binary 10% on the lesser leg, forget about that stuff. Stories, that's the only thing that's going to make a difference. And then leveraging your upline's stories and credibility for yourself. So, well, folks, I think we need to put a wrap on this thing. Has this been helpful? Okay, very good. We're gonna key it back up again on Sunday of next week, same bat time, same bat channel. Bring me your questions next Sunday. Okay, we'll do the same thing we did this week, because this seems like, for every single question we've had, most of you have had the same challenge or need to at least know how to respond to that. Okay.
Thank you for your help.
Appreciate that. All right, folks, I'll post this here a little bit later tonight. It'll be up on the channel. Your team members that couldn't make it, encourage them to go to the YouTube channel, and we'll be back on next Sunday, okay?
All right.
Happy Easter, you guys. Appreciate you joining. Take care.
Thanks, Fred. Appreciate it.
We'll see you. Bye-bye.